A show interview. Our guest, David Icke. Noel Fielding has joined us in the studio, presumably to defend himself from charges that he is a reptilian hybrid from another dimension, which is a theory posited by David.
In a way though, if I kind of hoping he is a lizard, because it would be not in a bad way, but in a good way. Do you know what I mean?
I was talking to him earlier. He was upset. Yeah. He was like, I don't know what he's saying there. I'm not a lizard, I'm a nice guy.
I was eating flies at the time.
He was basking on a rock, eating flies, claiming no knowledge of this reptilian conduct.
I've just shed my skin outside.
It's just left it out there. I'm going to go and
pop
it out.
I am a little bit offended, but slightly turned on.
Yeah, well, let's...
Yeah, but it means you're like Illuminati, like the higher power, man.
Hold on, but before we move forward with this, because, like, David Icke has to deal with this stuff all the time, people wind him up and criticising him.
People talk over him and re-explain his explanations.
Now, that's not true. I think what Noel's trying to say there is people reiterate incorrectly what David Icke said. No, I like David Icke a lot. I'm into his books, I'm into his theories. I really like Human Race. Get off your knees! I like that as a title.
You torn because I'm a lizard person.
I don't see you as a lizard person. I'll be honest with you.
In your house.
You drew pictures of my cat. You're an immaculate and perfect
Jeremy
house
came
guest.
in, I was on the ceiling like a gecko.
I looked up at him up there. He seemed happy as Larry. So let's I've got a few things I want to ask David Icke about. One is that he said the Olympics was a lot of satanic ritual and there was a lot of symbolism that was from Satanism. Some people, Noel Gallagher said that my Willy Wonka song was beyond the devil.
Willy Wonka song?
Yeah, I done that Willy Wonka song. Yes, you know, now hold on, the beginning bit. Come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. I'm a walrus. Hello, girls, you enjoy the Olympics.
It was truly horrifying. It was horrifying.
It was bonkers.
But it was brilliant and it should have happened and it was a great event for the British people.
How did you slip through the lizard net? I can't even...
I'm not even in the lizard net. Don't try and drag me down Lizardville Lane.
I've got Icke here.
Hold on a minute. Okay, the other thing...
You're telling us what you're going to ask Icke. When we put him on.
Because once you know what it's like, once you get David on the line, he takes you on an interdimensional cosmic journey and you never know where you're going to end up.
The line.
We're going to ask him about peyote. We're going to ask him about, what's the other thing you said, G? Oh, the Olympics, and is Noel Fielding a lizard? So these are the areas that we're going to cover. Noel's got a question, but just to reiterate once more, David Icke is a pal of mine and I think he's cool. Hello, David.
Hello, mate. He's having you on. I never said that at all.
Flat denial, Fielding. Flat denial.
My family know his mum on the Isle of Wight.
That is true.
I never said that.
Well, apparently a Guardian journalist said that you said I was one of the lizard people. I'm quite relieved that I'm not, actually. What do you think?
You don't believe journalists, mate. You know, I mean, if they had a brain cell, it would die of loneliness. You know what I mean? Most of them. So
I'm not. I've just lost all my street cred. I'm not even a lizard person.
There you go.
We're back to being like
I'm
us
a bringer of bad news.
Ah, well.
Right, that's cleared that up. Noel Fielding is not a lizard, so we can enjoy his company. We can enjoy him at the Teenage Cancer Trust on Wednesday, knowing we're not watching a reptilian hybrid from another dimension. So, David, I want to talk to you about those Olympics there. Obviously, the highlight was me singing Willy Wonka songs on top of the psychedelic bus, which some people didn't appreciate because they're savages. Not horrific, no. Great entertainment for Britain. Great Britain. Proud day. Proud day for Britain. Proud day.
Churchillian. 2 weeks of glory.
Spoiled the Olympics.
It didn't spoil 2 weeks. It didn't spoil the Olympics. It's what, when the gods came up with the Olympics, that is what they wanted to happen. The ancient Greeks' intentions.
Horrific sonic murder.
How come then, David Icke, that it was a satanic ritual, please?
Well, I mean, to talk about that would take forever to connect a lot of dots before it made any sense. But in principle, you know, we are being communicated with all the time in ways that we're not aware of. I mean, every second, according to mainstream science, we're taking in about 11 million impressions of our environment, and the brain constructs our reality from 40 of them. So, I mean, there's just a little bit we're not taking in with the conscious mind, but the subconscious mind picks it all up, and this is where symbolism and subliminal advertising and all this stuff comes in. If you can get to the subconscious mind, then the conscious mind, eventually it filters through, and the conscious mind thinks, I've just had a thought. I tell you what I think. I think I'll go there. I think I'll buy a Coke. And this is how it works. So all this symbolism is going into the subconscious mind.
All right, Gallagher wants to say something. Go on, mate.
Hi, Dave. Would you like to re-explain to the people what David was actually saying there?
What David Icke was saying there was that my performance in the Olympics was so top-notch, so bloody top banana, so first class, that how could it really be Satanism? No, but I think, well, David, what I'm interested in, mate, is how could the collusion of all those people, because I was in them Olympics doing the old Willy Wonka, we all saw it was great.
Is that an event now?
No, you weren't in the Olympics. Yeah. You were part of the closing ceremony, sadly.
You weren't racing
in the Olympics.
9 other Willy Wonkas.
Get bogged down in who done what. Usain Bolt, Olympics. Me, Olympics. that girl that does the swimming for us, Olympics.
Me,
so we're
one
all
of the lizard
Olympians.
I was in the Lizard Olympics.
No, behave while I deal with this David Icke situation.
Go on.
So, David, how would you get the collaboration of all of those different people in something that was a sort of a high-level sort of Freemason satanic ritual thing? How would it happen?
Well, this is the point. This is the point of the whole way that the system works, is that you don't need collaboration of that many people. I mean, the whole structure of the manipulation of the human race globally is through what people at the CIA call compartmentalization. If you look at it, any organization today, no matter almost what it is, a government, a university, a corporation.
What about if it's XFM? Let's take the example of XFM. How would that be? How would they infiltrate that with the kind of negative data for mind control?
Well, let me finish the point. Then the structure of every organization is a pyramid. At the top of the pyramid, you've got a tiny few people, say at the top of a bank, and they know what the game really is. They know what the motivation of the bank really is. And then you come down from that pyramid peak, and in any organization, you're meeting more and more and more and more people who know less and less and less as you come down what they know at the top. And thus there are people every day making contributions to turning this world into a fascist Orwellian global state in multiple levels, in a police state, who have no idea that they're doing that because they don't know how their contribution, apparently in innocence, in and of itself, connects with loads of other people who think the same. And when you connect all the contributions, it's anything but innocent. It's desperately sinister. And, you know, I'm all for a laugh, but, you know, when you've been on this road like I have for 25 years and you realize what's actually going on, the human race is facing, increasingly obviously, a Armageddon of things that are being put in place to turn this world into a bloody nightmare, not least financially. And people need to know about it, because I feel, you know, I'm sit here sometimes, and I feel like I'm watching a road traffic accident in slow motion. I'm trying to tell the person across the road.
Willy Wonka.
Yeah,
I felt that when I ran down Sneed.
But this is it, you see. This is it. Let's, you know, I'm all for a laugh, but this world is up shit creek.
Hold on a minute. That is swearing, and on behalf of Jesus, don't do it again, mate. So what, David? What are we gonna do? But like,
He's saying you're a puppet.
I am not a puppet.
You're a puppet for the higher
ups.
ups.
Strings to hold me down to make me laugh.
I'm with him.
What's that string? I ain't no puppets.
You danced on a bus to Willy Wonka, massacred the
You're like a
Beatles
sock
for
puppet.
Satan.
I never done that.
Dressed in purple.
Yeah.
I looked great up on that bus, and my mum was pleased as punch when
I'd
she
say
watched
mauve, if anything.
Lilac, mauve. It was a collision of colours. But hold on, let's for a minute focus on David's point. We are being manipulated. David Icke is in some way reiterating theories from fellas like Chomsky that say that debate and consensus is achieved inside a small circle of information, and we do need to rise up. David's right, the human race, that's us lot. We do need to get on our knees and confront these authorities. But how are we going to do it, Dave? Smash some shop windows, throw a phone through a shop window, run a fella over, dress in white blankets? Am I on the right path, David?
No.
That was actually Noel Gallagher, who we don't trust.
Guinea pig wrists. It's all about guinea pig wrists.
We're trying our best with the guinea pigs. Trevor's out there researching that to the hilt. The guinea pig wrist. David?
What people need to do is wake up and stop pissing about. Because
You're like a swearing factory.
well.
Do you want to start another band, Dave? I like this.
People need to wake up to what's going on, because you do nothing about something you don't know is going on. So people need to open their minds to what's going on, and increasingly they are. And what's happening is that we are cooperating with our own enslavement. A few people decide what's going to happen, and we obey the law. I mean, what is legal? People say you must do it because it's legal. What is
Should we
legal?
break some laws? What laws should we break as a protest? Protest law breaking.
Physics.
Sorry for swearing.
What is legal? It's criminals in dark suits voting to make their criminality legal. That's what's happening in parliaments all over the world. And when a law is not just, it's not fair, and it's oppressive, then we should not en masse.
But what should we do as a protest,
obey with
David? What about, can we put a musical bed under this because it gives it a nice vibe? What should we do? What should we do? It's too high in the mix. Lower it in the mix. But but leave it in a bit. What should we do, David, to can we break some laws? Should we leave our cars in the middle of the street? Should we kick over some bins? Looting? What should we do?
Well, I'll give you a simple example, and this is a really simple example, which is a simple example of something that you can play right across the system of laws. You know, we have a situation now where there are so many laws and regulations, you can hardly bloody breathe without breaking a law. And one of them is that you put out a bloody wheelie bin in the wrong place or on the wrong day, and you get fined, you know, kind of a couple £100 or something for doing it. Now, people go, oh, that's terrible, it's Big Brother gone mad. And what do? They carry on with their lives. What needs to happen in that simple example is everyone in that area, everyone in that town, breaks the law every week until the law is changed.
Right, okay, I got it. We're all going to put our wheelie bins out in the street whenever we choose, Matthew. We're all going to kill the thing. Oh, right. We should, let's take something practical from this. If you are listening to our radio show and you're being told to, I'm into David, I think he's basically right about we are being manipulated, we're being kept on a narrow bandwidth of consciousness. Our first step is we're going to put our wheelie bins right out in the middle of the street whenever we fancy it. So, tomorrow, or maybe even now. Get out in the street.
Get your wheelie bins out.
Get your wheelie bins, push them right out to the middle of the road. Now, if you send us photos of your wheelie bins, if you send photos of your wheelie bins in the middle of the street, we will applaud you for this act of small defiance.
No, that's silly.
Well, I don't know, mate.
Let's get in our wheelie bins. Let's get in our wheelie bins, push ourselves about town.
Noel Fielding wants to be inside of a wheelie bin. We can do this at the Teenage Cancer Trust.
Like reverse Daleks.
Look, David, you know that our job is to be frivolous and fun, and we can be revolutionary and radical and be silly and spurious as well, and it is in no way to the detriment of many of your theories, which I completely support, that we are being tangled in an administrative, bureaucratic, legal quagmire, and our freedoms are being taken away from us, and our consciousness is being deeply enclosed. Our solution is to get into some wheelie bins. David, thank you very much for coming on the show, mate. You're always fantastic. You're always a help. We're going to go back to being extremely silly. Thanks for the data. Take on board what David said. He's a brilliant, brilliant man. Is that all right, Dave?
Whatever you like, mate.
Oh, don't sound disgruntled.
No.
You sound disgruntled.
No, but I could have been in the land of Nod an hour ago. But anyway, I got something across. But
you did.
Honestly, mate, if I can get one last thing across, we are looking a nightmare in the face. And what is happening in Cyprus, where they're now making a precedent to take people's money out of their bank accounts without even asking and permission, the government, we are facing a bloody nightmare, and it's not ending here. If people knew what they planned to bring in the not too distant future, they wouldn't need to curl their bloody hair. You know, this is serious, and we need to face it, and face it now, or regret it for the not just the rest of our lives, but regret it for the rest of our children and grandchildren's lives. Okay, that's all I got to say. I'll see you. All the best, lads.
Oh, thank you, David. Thank you,
no
mate.
problem. All the best. Bye.
Bye, David.
Bye.
Thanks for saying I'm not a lizard.
There you go. See, Noel. Right now, I really love David, but he
sounded annoyed, but he did say the S word, the P word, and then at the end he said B-L-O-O-D-Y. Are we allowed to say that?
What did he say?
Bloody.
Oh, my God.
Oh, no, I've said it.
It was like the Bill Grundy show. It was Sex Pistol Mania.
It was the sound bed. Did it.
Well, let's take this opportunity to
bring it down.
let David know that we respect